Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mototoxic Car and Bike Reviews. Today, we're going to be talking about superchargers and turbochargers and which one's best. Which one gives you the best bang for your buck in horsepowers. All right. First, you've got the superchargers. And then you've got the turbos. Turbocharging your car is something you can do to increase the horsepower immensely. I mean, if you're looking to make thousands and thousands and thousands of horsepower, turbocharging is the way to go. Turbochargers work by using your exhaust fumes and gases to spin a turbine to force air into, typically it goes through an intercooler, and then it forces air into your intake, creating boost, which is just a higher level of compression. Intercoolers are typically used on both applications these days, but the main goal of an intercooler is to cool down the air as much as possible so you can get as much air as possible into your compression chamber, because that's where all the magic happens. That's where it goes pop, bang, poo, shoots you out of the hole, flying, face-melting speeds. Although turbochargers are great for making tons of horsepower, they tend not to be the most reliable. They tend to require the most maintenance because there's more joints in the tubing, in the piping and stuff, unless you have it professionally welded, which is incredibly expensive. Some people do that, but even then, you still have higher amounts of boost going through your engine, which is creating higher wear and tear on your engine, as well as your turbo needs to be oiled as well. So you've got more fittings and more lines and all that good stuff that can go wrong, whereas superchargers are much more simplified than that. On to the superchargers. There's many sizes, brands, etc., etc. Same thing with turbos. You can get humongous turbos. You can also get humongous superchargers. There's the old big blowers that stick through your hood and all that nonsense. And then there's the new modern blowers that go on top of your engine. There's also pro chargers, which I'm not going to get into, which is centrifugal superchargers. But I will not get into those ones. The ones I'm going to be getting into is these route superchargers. I never knew the correct terminology for it, but these ones, they sit on top of your engine, they replace your intake, and they use gears from a pulley that's connected to your serpentine belt. You get a bigger serpentine belt, obviously, but it's connected to gears which spin turbines inside of the unit, and it creates it takes your atmospheric pressure from your air intake and creates boost in your engine. So one of the reasons why superchargers are so much less maintenance is because they have their own lubrication system inside of it. You don't have to, typically, from what I know, you don't have to feed it with an oil source. It has its own lubrication system that you change periodically every so many thousand miles or 100 miles or whatever, depends on the supercharger and the manufacturer. But there's typically a lot less maintenance because there's less fittings, there's less connections, and et cetera, and there's less boost. It's less wear and tear on your engine. It's a little bit better for your engine. It's both of these applications, unless your engine is built for it, is terrible for it. But does not matter. They're both extremely fun. So, yeah, I think depending on what you plan on doing with your car, whether you're trying to produce as much horsepower as possible, or if you're just trying to produce a safe amount of horsepower and try and just have something that you don't have to maintain all the time, you don't have to worry about it breaking down on you all the time, I think that superchargers are the way to go. Granted, you can produce a lot of horsepower. You can produce thousands of horsepower with superchargers as well. It's just much easier with turbos. Much easier with turbos. You can twin turbo your car with 100 millimeter turbos, and you're probably going to have more boost than your engine can possibly handle. Whereas a supercharger, you'd have to get it ported, change the pulley, etc., 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 or just get a really big supercharger. So what's better at producing power? Turbos. What's better at being more maintenance friendly? Superchargers. It also depends what kind of power curve you're looking for. If you're looking for more torque, like a more even power band, like power curve, supercharger is like more beneficial for that. A lot of people that track race use superchargers because you have a better torque on a supercharger, because the boost is matched with the RPMs. Whereas a turbocharger, there's this thing called turbo lag, where it takes a second for the turbo to spool up, and then it takes a second for the air to get from the turbo to your intake. Whereas a supercharger is just right on it replaces your intake, so it's instantaneous boost. So yeah, people who track race, they typically use superchargers. People who drag race are starting to use turbochargers now more than superchargers, because of anti-lag systems and stuff like that. It can get rid of the turbo lag from a dead stop. Whereas on a track, you're constantly in your boost when you're going around corners and slowing down. And when you floor it, that's when the turbo lag really kind of gets you when you're track racing. So, yeah, I think it just depends on what you're looking to do with it. What you're looking for what you want out of your build, and what you want out of, if you care about maintenance. Some people don't care about maintenance at all. Some people would rather want to work on their car every single weekend if they could. And for those people, more power to you. Get a turbocharger. But for the people who are 50 years old and just want to have a good time and roast tires, get a supercharger. Easy decision. But who knows? Maybe you want to do both. That's a possibility too. I hope you got all the information you were looking to get from the video. And I hope you guys come back to the channel for other videos that I put out in the future. If you like the channel and you like the videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.